Hollywood just froze mid-scroll. Because after weeks of whispers, cryptic captions, red carpet body language breakdowns, and fan theories spiraling out of control, Teyana Taylor finally spoke, and the internet was not prepared. Not for the tone, not for the timing, and definitely not for what she said about Pierre. For months, social media detectives have been dissecting every glance, every interview clip, every public appearance involving the two. Were they glowing? Were they distant? Was that chemistry real or carefully curated? TikTok slowed down their red carpet smiles frame by frame. Twitter threads built entire timelines out of nothing but emojis and eye contact. And through it all, silence. Until now. Because when Teyana finally addressed the speculation surrounding her connection with Aaron, she didn't dodge. She didn't deflect. She didn't snap. She described what they had as healthy, gentle, soft, kind. Healthy. In an industry addicted to chaos, that word alone felt explosive. But here's why fans are stunned. Her words didn't shut down the rumors. They intensified them. Because behind that calm delivery, some people heard closure, others heard confirmation, and a very loud corner of the internet heard something else entirely. Now timelines are on fire, celebrity reactions are pouring in, old clips are resurfacing, alleged insider whispers are spreading like wildfire. Was this a love story misunderstood? A private bond forced into public chaos? Or something deeper that Hollywood isn't ready to name out loud? Because what Teyana didn't say might be louder than what she did. The moment Teyana Taylor leaned into that microphone and calmly described what she and Pierre shared as healthy, gentle, soft, kind, the internet didn't exhale. It combusted. Because that wasn't a denial. It wasn't a confirmation. It was something far more dangerous. It was intimate. And intimacy, when delivered publicly in the middle of swirling rumors, hits like a shockwave. Within seconds of the clip going live, TikTok stitched it, Twitter reposted it, Instagram blogs slapped dramatic captions on it. Teyana breaks silence. She finally speaks. Soft launch or soft goodbye? The timeline split into factions instantly. Team, they're in love. Team, it's already over. Team, something happened. Because here's what makes this moment seismic. She didn't speak like someone fighting allegations. She spoke like someone reflecting. And reflection implies experience. Now let's rewind. For weeks there had been whispers about distance, subtle shifts. Fans noticed fewer interactions, no recent public sightings, a lack of cross-posting. And in celebrity culture, absence is louder than scandal. Then came the alleged blind item. A popular gossip account dropped a cryptic post about an actress-singer stepping away from a British heartthrob after discovering emotional misalignment. No names, but the comments filled them in immediately. Aaron's name trended for hours without him saying a single word. Then someone claimed there were screenshots. Unverified, blurry. A supposed late-night text exchange that hinted at tension. No concrete proof. But in the court of public opinion, suggestion is enough. Sources, and let's be clear, and these are alleged insiders speaking anonymously, claimed that in the weeks leading up to Teyana's statement, there had been conversations, not screaming matches, not explosive confrontations, conversations about boundaries, about privacy, about emotional energy. One alleged insider described it as two intense creatives trying to navigate something fragile under a spotlight that refuses to dim. Fragile. That word has stuck. Because when she described what they had as soft and warm, fans heard protection. Protection of a moment. Protection of a person. Protection of herself. But here's where it twists. Another blogger claimed that Aaron had been blindsided by the timing of her public reflection. Not by the words, but by the public nature of them. Because up until that point, everything between them, whatever it was, had lived in the realm of subtlety. No hard launches, no declarations, just chemistry. And chemistry is deniable. Public language is not. Then came the alleged audio leak, a short voice note circulating on Twitter claiming to be Aaron speaking to a friend, saying it was never what they think it was. Unverified, unconfirmed, but shared thousands of times. Was it real? Was it AI? Was it manufactured chaos? Nobody knows. But it added fuel. And when fuel meets speculation, it becomes narrative. Meanwhile, Teyana remained poised. No follow-up rant. No defensive Instagram live. Just a single statement that felt layered. And that layering is what's driving experts in body language analysis into overdrive. Yes, that's happening. Clips slowed down, her eye contact examined. The slight pause before she said, "One of the best feelings I've ever had," dissected like it was a coded confession. Was that past tense, intentional? Had. One word triggered an avalanche. Fans zoomed in on that single verb like detectives solving a crime, because if it was had, does that mean it's over? Or was it simply reflective phrasing? Language becomes explosive under scrutiny. Now, here's where the betrayal whispers creep in. A lesser-known entertainment site published a piece claiming there had been third-party interference. Not cheating, not scandalous betrayal, but outside voices, friends advising distance, industry pressure, publicists urging caution. Because when two powerful names are linked, branding becomes entangled. And branding affects contracts. Contracts affect money. Money affects decisions. If those whispers hold any truth, then what we're witnessing isn't heartbreak. It's strategic separation. But that theory is colliding with another. An anonymous source claiming there was a moment, a single conversation, that shifted everything. No raised voices, no dramatic exits, just clarity. And clarity, insiders say, can feel colder than conflict. Social media, meanwhile, is in meltdown mode. Edits of them together playing to romantic R&B soundtracks. Then counter-edits labelled "When Soft Turns Silent." Celebrity reactions started subtle. A singer commented under Teyana's clip, "Protect your peace always." An actor tweeted, "Gentle love is rare." But then someone close to Aaron allegedly liked a comment that read, "It wasn't mutual." Liked. Unliked. Screenshotted before deletion. And suddenly neutrality vanished. Because now the narrative isn't just about what Teyana said, it's about what Aaron hasn't. Silence from him has become a storyline in itself. Is he processing? Strategizing? Waiting for legal advice? Or simply choosing not to feed a fire? Every option carries implication. And in the middle of all this, fans are projecting. Some celebrating her strength, others accusing her of soft-launching heartbreak, and a loud minority insisting this was all misinterpreted from the beginning. But here's the cliffhanger that has insiders whispering tonight. A production assistant from a recent project allegedly overheard a conversation between Aaron and a colleague about timing. Timing of what? Timing of statements? Timing of appearances? Timing of stepping back? If timing is being discussed behind closed doors, this story isn't finished. It's in transition, because when two high-profile creatives are navigating something personal in public, every move becomes choreography. And right now, the choreography looks incomplete. What allegedly happened after the cameras cut is where this story stops being poetic and starts becoming combustible. Because according to multiple on-set whispers, the second Teyana Taylor finished describing what she and Aaron Pierre shared as healthy and gentle, she didn't linger backstage. She didn't celebrate the viral moment. She left. Quickly. One production assistant allegedly told a blogger that her energy shifted the moment the interview wrapped. Not sad, not angry. Focused. Intentional. Almost like someone who had just closed a chapter and knew the world hadn't caught up yet. And that's where the real speculation ignited. Because while fans were replaying the clip and dissecting her phrasing, insiders claim Aaron was caught off guard by how fast it spread. Within an hour, his phone was reportedly blowing up. Group chats, industry friends, PR contacts, even extended family. And here's where it twists. An anonymous source claims there was a phone call that night. Not explosive, not theatrical, but heavy. The kind of call where both people realize something fundamental has shifted. No one knows what was said, but the alleged detail that's circulating, it lasted less than 6 minutes. 6 minutes, after months of whispers, chemistry speculation, and public curiosity. That brevity has fans spiraling. Because long relationships don't end in 6 minutes, unless they were already ending quietly. Now let's talk about the alleged third-party interference rumor that's gaining traction. A well-followed entertainment account posted that Aaron's team had been advising him to maintain ambiguity publicly. Not confirm. Not deny. Just exist in mystery. Why? Because mystery markets better than clarity. A rising actor linked romantically to a multi-hyphenate powerhouse generates intrigue. Intrigue generates clicks. Clicks generate attention. But attention, unmanaged, becomes pressure. And pressure cracks delicate things. If those whispers are true, then this wasn't just about feelings. It was about optics. And optics in Hollywood are currency. But here's the betrayal layer that's making this narrative darker. A second blind item surfaced late last night suggesting that someone close to Aaron may have been feeding subtle information to gossip pages. Nothing concrete, just friendly confirmations. Enough to keep the rumors alive without direct statements. If that's true, then the gentle connection Teyana described was being quietly exploited behind the scenes. Exploited for buzz. Exploited for relevance. And exploitation changes the tone of everything. Because what she framed as warm and kind suddenly becomes strategic and transactional in the eyes of fans. Social media chaos has now escalated into factions openly debating loyalty. Team Teyana insists her calm statement was closure. Team Aaron argues she framed it in a way that left him vulnerable to interpretation. One viral tweet read, "She spoke in peace, he's speaking in silence." That's telling. Another countered, "Silence doesn't mean guilt, it means boundaries." And somewhere in the middle of that war, Kelvin Harrison Jr.'s name began trending again. Not because of new evidence, but because old rumors never fully die online. There is no confirmed romantic involvement between Aaron and Kelvin. None. Zero verified proof. But the internet's appetite for dramatic triangles doesn't require proof. It requires proximity. And proximity is enough. Now here's the alleged confrontation no one saw coming. A respected industry insider claims that at a private industry gathering days before Teyana's statement, Aaron and a mutual acquaintance had a tense exchange. Words about narratives getting out of control. Words about people misinterpreting closeness. Nothing explosive, but enough tension that multiple attendees noticed. And when tension is noticed in Hollywood circles, it becomes gossip by morning. But the most unsettling whisper, that Teyana knew about that gathering, and that she was aware of conversations happening without her present. If she felt excluded from narrative discussions about something she was directly part of, that shifts the emotional landscape entirely. Because now it's not just about romance, it's about respect. Then came the alleged screenshot that sent TikTok into meltdown. A supposed private message from someone claiming to be in Aaron's extended circle that read, "He didn't think she'd say it like that." Like what? Soft? Past tense? Final? Ambiguity fuels hysteria, and hysteria fuels engagement. Meanwhile, Teyana posted nothing further. No cryptic captions, no song lyrics, no moody black and white selfies, just silence. And that silence is louder than any headline. Because when someone known for artistic expression chooses quiet, it feels intentional, strategic, almost surgical. Industry PR analysts are now openly debating whether this was a preemptive move. Was she reclaiming narrative before someone else did? Was she clarifying before a leak twisted things? Or was she simply answering a question honestly and watching the internet overreact? All three possibilities are plausible. And that's the brilliance of it. Because ambiguity protects. It shields without denying. It closes doors without slamming them. But here's the cliffhanger insiders are whispering tonight. Aaron is allegedly considering a statement. Short, carefully worded, possibly centered around privacy and mutual respect. If he speaks, the tone will matter. If he stays silent, the silence will speak for him. And if he contradicts even a nuance of what Teyana said, the internet won't forgive the inconsistency. Because right now the narrative tilts toward her composure, toward her clarity, toward her ownership of her words. The next move is his. The anonymous industry veteran didn't just whisper, they detonated. Because late last night, a longtime casting director, someone who has worked around both Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre, allegedly told a private media circle something that instantly reframed this entire saga. It wasn't betrayal, they said. It was imbalance. Imbalance. That word hit harder than any cheating rumor ever could. Because imbalance suggests something slower, something subtler, something that doesn't explode overnight but erodes quietly behind the scenes. According to this insider, Teyana is emotionally direct, transparent, intentional. When she feels something, she names it. She honors it. She stands in it. Aaron allegedly is guarded, layered, introspective, not dishonest, but private to the point of being unreadable. And when one person is expressive and the other is internal, the connection can feel magical at first. But eventually, it can feel uneven. Now here's where it gets even more intense. The insider claimed that during early stages of whatever this connection was, Aaron reportedly struggled with how public the speculation became. Not because he didn't value her, but because he feared being reduced to her partner instead of standing fully in his own rising momentum. That insecurity, if true, would change everything. Because now the story isn't betrayal, it's identity conflict. And identity conflict in Hollywood is brutal. When two strong brands begin overlapping, someone inevitably worries about disappearing. Was that happening here? Fans immediately started reanalyzing interviews. In one resurfaced clip, Aaron once said he values solitude and space to process. In another, Teyana spoke about loving, intentional presence. Solitude versus presence. Processing versus expression. Compatibility or contradiction. Social media is dissecting it like a masterclass in emotional psychology. Then came the alleged moment of clarity. According to this same insider, there was no screaming breakup, no dramatic betrayal, no text message that shattered trust. There was a realization, a mutual, painful recognition that the connection felt different in private than it did in public. Different under the lights, different under expectation, and that difference created tension neither wanted to name at first. Now here's the twist nobody predicted. The veteran insider allegedly said that when Teyana described their connection as one of the best feelings I've ever had, it wasn't past tense closure. It was gratitude. Gratitude for something real that may not have been sustainable. That nuance alone flips the entire online war. Because if this was about evolution rather than exposure, then the villain narrative collapses. But here's the betrayal angle that still lingers. Multiple smaller blogs continue pushing the theory that someone close to Aaron intentionally fed distance rumors to entertainment pages before Teyana ever spoke. Why? To control perception, to frame separation as his choice. If that's even partially accurate, then Teyana's statement wasn't soft reflection. It was preemption. Preemption before someone else's version became dominant. Now the internet is in overdrive. Think pieces are emerging titled Soft Love in a Loud Industry. Podcasters are debating whether modern celebrity relationships can survive fan speculation. A therapist with 2 million followers went live analysing their body language from a single award show appearance. It has reached that level. Meanwhile, Aaron remains silent. And silence is now deafening. Because if this was truly imbalance rather than betrayal, then a simple statement of mutual respect would calm everything. But he hasn't given it, which makes every hour heavier. And here's the explosive rumor shaking the industry tonight. A streaming executive allegedly revealed that both Teyana and Aaron are attached to projects releasing within months of each other. If that's true, then every word either of them speaks affects market value. Contracts, campaigns, endorsements. One messy headline can cost millions, which means this silence may not be emotional, it may be contractual. And if legal teams are involved, this story just entered a different dimension. Because once lawyers enter, narratives become strategic, not sentimental. Now let's address Kelvin Harrison Jr. There is still zero verified evidence tying him romantically to Aaron, but his name continues trending because proximity creates fantasy online. And fantasy refuses to die quietly. Or an industry assistant allegedly said Kelvin has been frustrated at being dragged into something he never publicly addressed. If that's true, this entire triangle narrative may be fan-manufactured chaos. But chaos sticks, even when disproven. And the longer Aaron stays silent, the more those theories breathe. Meanwhile, Teyana's composure has shifted public sympathy. Her statement didn't attack. It didn't accuse. It described. And description without blame feels mature, powerful, grounded. But here's the final revelation that could change everything. That industry veteran added one more line before ending the conversation. They cared about each other. They just wanted different rhythms. Different rhythms. That's not scandal. That's humanity. And humanity doesn't trend as well as betrayal. Which leaves us here. Or with a story that may not be a cheating scandal, may not be a secret entanglement, may not be emotional manipulation, but may simply be two powerful creatives colliding at the wrong tempo. And in Hollywood, wrong tempo can feel like betrayal. Because when fans invest in chemistry, they expect crescendo, not quiet fades. The real cliffhanger now? Will Aaron speak? And if he does, will he validate imbalance or ignite conflict? Because one sentence from him could either confirm maturity or reopen every conspiracy theory the internet has already drafted. Right now, the narrative rests in stillness. But stillness doesn't last forever. Someone will move next. And when they do, the story shifts again. If you think this story is over, you're not watching closely enough. Because what just happened between Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre isn't just celebrity gossip. It's a live masterclass in power, timing, silence, and narrative control playing out in real time. One calm statement shifted the entire internet. One word, had, launched 1,000 theories. One silence from him has kept the tension hanging in the air like a cliffhanger no one can resolve. And here's the truth. The next move changes everything. If Aaron speaks, the tone matters. If he stays silent, that silence becomes the story. If either of them posts something subtle, a quote, a lyric, a project announcement, social media will explode again. This isn't just about a relationship. It's about perception. It's about image. It's about who controls the narrative when emotions meet the spotlight. So don't just scroll past this and wait for the blogs to water it down. Stay ahead of it. Hit that like button right now if you felt the shift in her voice. Drop your theory in the comments. Was it imbalance, closure, strategy, or something we still haven't uncovered? And most importantly, subscribe and turn on notifications immediately. Because when the next statement drops, and it will, you're going to want the full breakdown, not a recycled headline. In Hollywood, silence never stays silent for long. Stay locked in. This story isn't fading, it's evolving.